Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent live from the Atzenhofer Studios, where we are every single Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. Central Time. I wonder if that'll be Central Daylight Time going forward, or if they'll refer to it as Central Time, since we no longer have to differentiate if everything moves forward. But anyway, I digress, and we'll get into all of that. And your comments, looks like Marvin Mickish, Bobby Leister, Mark Kurtz on the podium this morning. So welcome, everybody. Welcome all our listeners on Magic, the No Bull Network. Everybody check it in on Facebook and YouTube. We appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in every morning, starting your day with us. And the Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Dierlam Hayfeed and Ranch Services.
78 degrees under sunny skies in Victoria, Texas, heading to a high today of 94. It's just straight sun all day long. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, highs or lows in the high 70s, 78, 6, 7, and then 94, 94, 95, 93. So it's going to be a Devo, same as it ever was. No, that's Talking Heads. Same as it ever was day for the next couple of days. Right. That's not my beautiful wife. That's not mine. Yeah. And by the way, isn't the entire program to a degree one large digression?
More or less.
I mean, you've got to understand that that's what we're dealing with. John Paul Hull, I'm sorry you couldn't sleep, buddy. It's just not like him to be. John Paul is a guy, like many, many of our listeners, and we appreciate those of you that are actually hearing this around 9 o'clock this morning. By the time you get around to listening to us, it'll still be the freshest commentary that you'll see all day. But JP typically checks in a little bit later in the morning. So the fact that Bobby Leister, Mark Kurtz, and John Paul are on the podium tells me that JP can't sleep. So I'm sorry for you. There's Jay Glass. Welcome, sir. Linda Christ. Hello, Tammy Keeling. Junior Samples, John Anderson, Tammy McElroy Williams. Serial killer?
3 names.
3 names makes you wonder. Greg Garcia.
Good morning, Marina.
There's Patrick Strauss, Marina. Hello, BJ Nelson. We're big with the ladies today. That's nice. We're very, very fortunate. Very fortunate and blessed. I've said it for years. No offense to Patrick Strauss or JP. The ladies are Wendy Hughes Garcia. The ladies are much more discerning, and the ladies are Renee Metting. The ladies are harder to please, and I that's not what I'm talking about, JP. I'm just saying that to have a consistent group of female listeners means that either we're doing something right or we're so aggravating that they just, they're also happily married.
Yeah, we make their husbands look great.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They have to tune in to listen to get their man hate on. But I like to think that it's because they are thoughtful. And
actually, the last time I checked the demographics, I think we skew like 60-40 women to males. Who
I think so too.
Follow and listen. So that's it. Or females to males. I think, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and the typical politics-driven topic show is male-driven. I think that shows that maybe our softer side comes out. I don't know. But it still could be a sexist comment, right? Even though it's complimentary to them. Hey, we're proud of our female listeners. They seem to get it better.
They seem to get us.
Right, exactly.
Scott Snow,
Buddy Stavanoa.
Good morning, buddy.
There you go.
Speaking of women, Kay Granger passed away on the weekend. She was the first Republican woman from Texas to be elected to the U.S. House back in 1996. She was not the first Texas woman elected to Congress. That would have been Kay Bailey Hutchison a couple of years earlier as the first senator, but she was the first Republican woman to be elected to the House out of Texas, which, 96, that's 30 years ago. That's not that long ago.
No, it's not. Hello, David Ballard. Well, it used to be a man's world. D.C. was only for the men, the harumph, the back rooms, the cigar chomping men.
She rose out of that. I was reading a little bit about her last night. She was big on defense spending, and pretty much backed every military action we ever took.
So she was paid for by Raytheon. Is that Raytheon owned her? McDonnell Douglas?
I'm not sure about Raytheon, but I think Bell ended up with a big plant in her area. I think she was like Fort Worth area. But she also was very grassroots. She came up through city council in Fort Worth and then became the mayor and then moved into federal politics. So,
you know what? Now that you say that, I remember Kay Granger as mayor of Fort Worth, correct?
Yeah, was a teacher at Birdville School, apparently. And then I think the F-35 was also built in Fort Worth, thanks to her.
And there you have it.
That as well.
So she's pro-military. Greg Garcia says, I tune in because coffee goes well with commentary and sarcasm. And what Greg is really telling you is that some combination of kind of gets his constitution going. And as a result, he doesn't want to disrupt that. He's content. And we like that. Speaking of content, let's just jump right into that. First State Bank of Louise Astros update. Astros not content to win 11 out of 12 and decided to part ways with Spencer Arrighetti. I think you had a good comment on that. I want to get to that in a moment. My concern is we gave up a guy that we owned and controlled who was a starting pitcher, although your comments will prevail. And in exchange, we got an everyday player who, is batting 245. And anyway, so take me through the trade. And hi, Stephanie Connie. Tell me what you think, Brad Mitchell.
Yeah, we got Dalton Varsho from the Blue Jays. And this is an interesting observation. I didn't have time to look to see but it's, and you know this, Brent. My recollection is Dana Brown, as the GM, likes to make trades with teams that are already in town. Abraham Toro went to the Yankees.
Interesting. Yes.
Right? I think when he traded Miles Straw at one point.
Miles Straw made a good catch last night against us.
But I think the last time they made a trade, the Jays were in town. It just seems to be very interesting that that's who his dance partner is around when it comes to trades, the team that's in town. But
it's like he's trying to save an airline ticket, he's trying to save $500.
Well, and time. If they don't make that trade yesterday, Dalton Varsho probably isn't playing until today at the earliest, maybe not till tomorrow, depending on when he could get here and everything. And, they passed physicals and all that. But Varsho's an upgrade in center field. Very good defensively. The 2024
he played left. Didn't he play left last night?
I did not check the box score because
he played left. No, I'm wrong. He played center. He did.
But
Trammell played left and Cam Smith played right.
Yeah. Interesting stat. Dalton Varsho in his entire career has committed 8 errors. Which is phenomenal. His entire career. The Astros outfielders this season have committed 8 errors combined.
Wow. Yeah, Patrick
plays the toughest of the outfield positions in center field. So
has he won 2 Gold Gloves or just one?
I think he's won a couple, but 24 was
24. Yeah.
He's very good defensively. He's got a little power. He's a left-handed bat. I think it'll work well. I think you'll see his numbers increase in Daikin because what Rogers Center or whatever they call it, the Sky Dome as it used to be known in Toronto, pretty cavernous. Not a great place for, Joe Carter's home run remembered from the 90s when they won the World Series, but that place, balls don't typically fly out of the Sky Dome. But I think Varsho is going to be a good pickup. I think a lot of people are still hopeful that Spencer Arrighetti becomes that Spencer Arrighetti that won like 7 or 8 in a row 3 years back and had a great run and then got hurt and could never capture it and never captured it before that run either.
He was always an overachiever. It's like you're always like
time for him. And he was never.
How did that guy do that? He wasn't really big. He wasn't overpowering. He was a probably 3-4 starter. And in an era when we were clamoring around that we needed more pitching, I just hate to give up a guy that we have under contract. It's not like Hunter Brown, who's fixing to break the bank at the end of the season.
Yeah, no. And
So,
I still wonder if you're looking for Reynolds to try to get you the Varsho deal for Arrighetti, a good deal. But I don't understand how the Astros couldn't have been. I mean, I haven't even heard their name mentioned as one of the names in it for Skubal. And when you see what the Dodgers didn't give up to get him,
right? They would have taken Arrighetti for him.
Easily.
They would have taken Arrighetti for him. You can bet on that because Arrighetti's better than what they got. But I look at it and I try to figure out, is Varsho a rental? Or is he a guy that you may try to lock down in center field at the end of the year? Jake Myers, if you don't care that the guy doesn't hit, Jake Myers is as good a glove in center field as there is in Major League Baseball.
I think he's all right, but I think long term, I think Varsho. If you could get Varsho to sign, I think it's an upgrade, and you could let Myers go, and you can put some money into pitching because Varsho's also pretty durable.
How old a kid is he? Do you know?
I think he's 30.
Well, he's got another 5 years out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun to see George Springer, who I just have an affinity for, right? Like, I don't know, and I'll admit that I'm biased and I'm probably wrong. George Springer really didn't do anything different than Alex Bregman. He put his services out there. He went to the highest bidder, and he went to Toronto. So he went. I don't know why I'm not mad at Springer, but I'm frustrated with Bregman. I thought Bregman was greedy. I thought Bregman was, like that. I don't know. So I'm admitting up front that I'm probably wrong. But it was refreshing to me to see Springer come out, put his arm around Varsho, and then turn him around and look at his jersey on the back. And they were cutting up before the game in a private moment. It just happened to be captured by the Astros pregame folks. From up that Bogusevic and that group that's up there underneath the Budweiser deal, the camera panned down and got him.
Well, that's how savvy Springer is. He knows that sort of stuff, but it's also genuine with him. He's a very genuine person. And see, I don't feel that way anymore because
hi, Rena.
The owners were so unfair to players for so long. And now there's so much money. I mean, look at what did, and this is, I know this is football, not baseball, but Jim Crane, when he bought the Astros, paid what, $600 million for him, maybe? Not even?
Is that all? I mean, they've got to be worth a couple of billion by now.
At least. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I don't feel sorry for Jim Crane
at all.
I don't hate Bregman for testing the market, and I don't hate Tucker for doing the same. I think it's I mean, it's hard to believe that Bregman couldn't have survived the rest of his life and his kids' lives and his grandkids' lives and his great-grandkids' lives on the money he had already made.
$200 million contract he could have signed here. Yeah.
Well, or the money he had already made at the Astros. But if this is the game that's being played, I don't have a problem with the players' greediness, because if they don't get it, somebody else will. And if the players don't get it, the owners are going to take it.
And the window is short. You only have, I mean, there is no logic. You look back just in our lifetimes, Roger Staubach, for example. Roger Staubach has made infinitely more money in the real estate world in Dallas than he ever made playing in the NFL. There wasn't the expectation that you could retire at 35 and be set for life.
I mean, John Elway kind of bridges that gap a little bit, and he made more money with car dealerships than he ever did playing, and he made pretty good money as a player.
Exactly. Well, then you look at a guy like Troy Aikman, who owned a couple of car dealerships. I think he tried to follow Elway, and that didn't play so much in the Dallas market. I think he struggled with the auto dealerships. But you look at a guy like Aikman now, makes he probably makes more as a broadcaster now than he did as a quarterback.
Absolutely, he does.
Tony Romo still hasn't completed a drive in Wisconsin. That's interesting. Have you heard any updates at all on Romo and his driving while I loved his look on his mugshot. He was like, yeah, you got me. Yeah, I'm loaded. I was playing golf with my buddies.
They suspended him. CBS suspended him. I don't know if that's with pay or without pay, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan Williams says
really
Nolan
a punishment for Romo.
No, he's just going to play golf. He's going to play golf and drink beer. But again, can you just, hey, Tiger, can you and Tony split an Uber? Why is it so hard for these guys that are worth more money than they certainly deserve to just take a cab? Do you have to get loaded
They
drive?
think they're untouchable?
That's right. Well, and I think that's why they deserve to be arrested. I mean, I might be inclined to let you go. I really might. If you hadn't hit anybody, you know, if an accident happens and you're busted, but, you know, at any rate, Jonathan Williams says Nolan Ryan has made more post-playing. You know, Nolan Ryan first, let's see, I guess he had to be before Tug McGraw because Nolan was the first $1 million contract in baseball, wasn't he? I believe so.
When he went to the Angels?
Yeah, when he signed with the Angels for $1 million.
When Gene Autry signed him?
So then when he came to Houston, McMullen paid him $2 million. And then they let him go for a couple of years. And it came time for his contract to be renewed. And he said, I'll sign, just extend what I've got. He had his ranch in Alvin. He drove in from the country to be. And man, oh man, McMullen said no. And the Rangers said, we'll give you $3 million. You don't have to be in the dugout for every game. We'll send a jet for you on the days you pitch. Nolan said, bye. Genius. Genius. Yeah. Greg Garcia says J.J. Watt replaced Romo at CBS for the commentary role with Jim Nantz. J.J. Watt is a very, of the Watts, he is a very marketable guy, big, good-looking guy, great player. Hall of Famer, Ash, J.J. Watt?
Yeah.
Yeah, is or will be?
Is or will be. I don't think he is yet.
Okay.
He hasn't been, I don't think he's been gone the customary 5 years.
Right. So J.J. Watt, great player, hurt, I think, too much, but very difficult, right? Because he plays such a physical position. There's Kendra Douglas checking in. We've talked about, and Ash, do you have that flyer in front of you? We're trying to raise.
So sorry for your loss, Kendra.
Absolutely. Calvin gone too soon, and we're doing everything.
There's a benefit this Saturday for Kendra's son, who was killed in a motorcycle accident a couple of weeks back.
Tragedy.
It'll be Saturday at 10:30 at St. Joseph High School until they're sold out. They've got barbecue plates, just $20 a plate, and they're also taking cash donations as well via Cash App. All the proceeds going to funeral expenses and to Calvin's young daughter, who he left behind as a result of the accident. So,
yeah, very
looking for good barbecue, want to support a great family and one of our very own Wade and Carter families. Stop by St. Joe this Saturday morning at 10:30.
Great folks. You'll see them at a lot of events donating their time. They go out and take a lot of photos, and
they do all the photography work at Warriors Weekend. Yeah,
very graciously. And you can. There's Commander Cody should be checking in a minute. It's a $, Calvin D Forever 21, and it's just very difficult to find a place that a name hasn't been taken. So it's for Cash App, it's $, Calvin D Forever 21. And you can also put a note in there of how many plates you want. Commander Cody, $, Calvin D Forever 21. And you can put a note of how many plates you want. So Cody, check your text for the flyer from me. And Ash, this is also a good time as we prepare to go to break. Tell folks about the National Wild Turkey Federation Foundation, not Federation, event.
That's coming up August 13th, I believe, at the community center. You can give Lee Zimmerman a call. He's got all the information. Let me get you his number real quick, because I've got that. I just didn't have it handy, but I'll bring it up.
I should have like texted you. See, when you're here, I can just write that down and slide it in front of Ash, and it goes straight into his, it's a perfect segue. But when you're
for
there,
some reason I can't chat, but oh well. Here's the number. If you want to type it in the comments, because I can't seem to do that right now for some reason.
What is the number?
713-823-2958. That's the number for Lee Zimmerman, so you can get tickets to the National Wild Turkey Federation banquet. Always a fun time. And lots of guns. The banquet's taking place.
Oh, Commander Cody says it's on the website. You can go to wadeandcarter.com, and there it is. It's just a lot of technology, a lot going on. Ash, stay close. I'm going to cut you out here. I'm not going to cut you out. I'm just going to put up this side window so you and I can talk about Veracruz on a pre-Caldo Wednesday, Tuesday. Today is not Taco Tuesday at Veracruz. Today is enchilada casserole. Hi, Tommy Kingston. Enchilada casserole Tuesday. Get in today and order, and it really will feed a family of 4 twice. Yeah.
And it's so good.
It is that good. Veracruz, the best Tex-Mex in the world. USA Foundation Repair. Charlie Garcia, the singing cowboy, huge Dallas Cowboys fan, will come out and give you a free estimate to level your slab, to level up your driveway, seal the cracks. They can even put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't
crack, stick, peel, or fade.
And they will be there for you. They do tremendous work. Pool pool like deck resurfacing. It'd be great.
Thank you for that reminder. I need to call them.
You got a deck up there in Oklahoma?
No, I've got one down there.
Well, you have a huge deck down here. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen is your go-to tow-to. Allen's Wrecker Service, been taking care of the big rigs forever. They have a 75-ton crane. If you end up in a ditch in your Yugo, they can come out and haul that thing to the dump. 578-6300. Went Services, Went for all your electrical needs. Whether you need a Generac whole house generator or you just need a new plug dropped in your barn, they can do that as well. Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe. Paravita inviting you to get in and get healthy. Join Ash and me. Pre-prepared meals. No gluten, no preservatives, no outside influence. Just good, wholesome, solid.
No artificial colors, no artificial flavors, just great food that's healthy for you.
It's real food for real people. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Play Palace Bingo anytime you want. You can go by and play. Palace inviting you to come in and enjoy the L&L Grill. The food is fantastic. Old school. Fried fish sandwich just hangs outside the bun all over the place.
Their hamburgers are really good, and they make
pizza.
They're now making a sugar-free cake too. And it's really good. I had it the last time I was there.
Did you really?
I did. Because
sugar-free cake. We call that cardboard, but I bet it's good. I know if they do, it's good. Yeah. Chesnick Furniture inviting you to see why you just always do better at Chesnick, whether you need bedding, Tempur-Pedic, Sealy Posturepedic, Stearns & Foster. They've got it all. Or if you need furniture, and we all need furniture, get in and let Chesnick show you how Chesnick and Love make your house a home. White Wing Materials, sand, gravel, aggregate, pea gravel, topsoil, fill dirt, 920 Sand. Reach out to Clayton Hilt's team, 920 Sand, for all your soil, sand, and gravel needs. So there you have it. Welcome back to the Atzenhofer studio, where for over 100 years, Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com. Back in the day, you had to pick up the phone, you had to take the little earpiece off and crank it up and go, Millie, connect me to Atzenhofer.com. Millie thought you were a nut, but now we know. We have now
been a nut if you were asking to be connected.
Right
back then.
Ed Atzenhofer on the line here, fixing to sell another Chevy 500. They stack them deep and sell them cheap. They sell their cars like candy bars.
If the flags are flying, people are
buying.
Yeah.
Get by Atzenhofer. Tomorrow, I love to give Ash. Let's call you Ash. I love to give Ash tasks. Tomorrow, he will have a car of the week.
I will.
And it'll be great. They have got, if you just need, like Dawn has always been one of those people who did not in any way define herself by what she drove. Never. Took no interest in what she drove. Sometimes what she wears, sometimes her jewelry, whatever, but not what she drove. If you're one of those people who's fortunate to just need transportation, you can buy a car really reasonably at Atzenhofer. And they have a lot of perfect, like, first-time car owner vehicles on their pre-owned lot.
Car of the week tomorrow will be a good one for back to school.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So a lot of primaries taking place around the country, and I want to bring it closer to home because there's some interesting candidates on the Democrat ticket, and hopefully they around the country, and hopefully they lose. But Texas primary is already done. So yesterday, Governor Abbott ordered state regulators to halt approvals of all new data centers and connections to the Texas grid until the projects that are pending clear an audit. So they've got to make sure everything's going to be the way they say it's going to be, and that the state's going to audit them. And this is, the tax breaks that they're getting, the power and the water use, how they're being cooled, who owns them. So making sure that there's no Chinese subsidiary being hidden way under 5 layers of ownership.
Right. They call that a non-foreign entity of concern. And there's an entire government regulation around that. If you're manufacturing something, the percentages of non-FEOC are going up every year.
Yeah. ERCOT is now tracking over 1,800 projects that are seeking, large amounts of capacity. 90% of them are data centers. This is, and I know we've talked about this, but this is the next wave. And Texas either needs to get on board, and I think Governor Abbott's doing a good job listening to the people, responding to the concerns as addressed here in the audit. All the things that anybody's concerned about, water usage, how they're cooled, the power that they're going to need, the noise and the light they emit, all being addressed here in this audit by the governor. So it's a great thing. But Gina Hinojosa, who is the Democrat nominee for governor,
who has no
Abbott's going far enough. She says that he needs to halt all projects until lawmakers meet to write the protections into law. And
so
I hate to say it.
It's too. You think she may be right?
No.
Okay, because it takes too long to get that going.
I think if you do that, you're not remaining nimble enough
100%.
for changing technology because the legislature only meets every 2 years. So let's pass a law. Let's say we pass a law this time that sets the parameters for data centers. Well, all of a sudden, and these must be met. We will not approve any data centers that don't meet these needs.
You got to bring your own water. You got to bring the power that you require, whatever even common sense rules may be.
Yeah. And what happens if all of a sudden those parameters shift because technology becomes more scalable, data centers can become better, whatever. You got to wait 2 years for the laws to change. Meanwhile, Texas is being left in the dust by other states. But I think he's doing a good thing. But it just highlights the Democrats' need for more government when there's already government in place. And I think Abbott's done a good job of listening to the people, putting parameters in place. Now he's halting projects pending an audit because obviously, if the governor's asking for an audit, he's not trusting what these companies are saying and what about their projects.
He's not just accepting at face value what the perpetrator is telling him. But how about this? I think my gut feeling, and we follow these things. We have had conversations with, for example, AJ Louderback about these things, our state rep from House District 30. But we're at least a casual follower of the challenges around data centers. I have to feel, and it's always a minority of folks who are so adamant that those that are so vitriolic and against data centers, I got to feel like 90% of them are existing in ignorance about data centers. Now, that's not the polite way to say that, but do you know what I'm trying to say there? It's like, I don't know, man, but it just doesn't say. They use a lot of water. Doesn't sound good to me. Nope, I'm against it. Now I'm adamant. Now I'm going to meetings. Now I'm showing up with my friends and I'm blaming Trump for it. I mean, that's what I see. Yeah. Well, and that's that same hateful aid. Like I could see all of our Dems with their signs with Jewel out front, meeting over at the Patty Dodson and holding up their homemade poster boards. No data centers, as they look at their Waze app and they deal with all their games on their video apps. And they, I mean, it's to me, it's ignorance. You've got to find a way to adjust to the technology because it's simply not going away.
No, and Texas will miss. I mean, we rode the tech wave through the 2000s, through the bubble in Austin and other places.
It made a dent in Silicon Valley. I mean, there's a lot of tech in Austin today because we were willing to embrace the technology.
Yeah. Texas business-friendly ways have made a dent in a lot of industries. Yesterday, I think Wall Street opened up, right? Texas's version of Wall Street. There's some limited trading, and the Texas Stock Exchange, I think, is slowly ramping up. I don't know all the details. But
what is that? Is it about just Texas-based companies?
I think so, but I think it will expand to include other companies as well going forward. But
interesting.
Yeah. Andrew Alvarez says, just get with NVIDIA and get one of those in-home data centers.
Well, I don't understand. I mean, it's just my ignorance that, and you guys, you listeners, do a great job of educating me. Is it just as simple as, well, you've got the New York Stock Exchange and then NASDAQ kind of made a dent in that with smaller businesses? Hi, Monty Howard. Is this all it is? Is just another, some people want to be listed on the Texas Exchange? Is it like just a competitor, if you will, or another avenue to evaluate and purchase equity? I don't understand exactly, why do you need a Texas Exchange except for bravado and ego?
It will probably allow for Texas companies to be listed and raise public by issuing stock, or easier than, or I don't know, maybe easier. I could be wrong than say the NASDAQ or the Dow Jones being listed on the New York Stock Exchange.
Our friend Katie Jackson checking in. Wasn't she fun to have on? She was great.
Good morning, Katie.
She censored the wrong word. You remember she censored the wrong word. She censored the word crazy. Are you, Katie? Are you remember that?
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else is happening in the world today. So I think what Abbott's doing is good. I think it's pretty good.
I could recap that for you. It's I mean, this is something I typically don't say on the air. Kids, cover your ears. But she was talking about probably a Democrat. I don't know. But she said, they're just batshit, that word you can't say on the radio. And I said, what, crazy? You can't say they're crazy on the radio? Anyway, it just came out. You old sailor, you. She's a lot of fun. She was a career Navy lady, and she's just awesome. I love her candidness.
So Rice University going to expand their free tuition program to $200,000. So families earning up to $200,000 a year will get free tuition with Rice.
Are they taking that from their endowment?
I'm guessing so. I mean, tuition at Rice, according to them, is over $72,000 with tuition and fees. So, and if you live on campus, it's pushing $100,000 for Rice education.
$100,000 a year?
Yep.
I just, I'm going to tell you that in an era when AI is replacing so many people in theory to begin with, I'm not sure. Like when I was a kid, I went to Texas. Oh, well, I went to A&M. And somebody else would go, I went to Rice. And we both went, whoa, you went to Rice. If you're a guy that goes and takes out a bunch of debt to get a $400,000 undergrad degree, I think you're an idiot.
I tend to agree.
I can't imagine. I'll promise you this. There is no undergrad BBA in finance at Rice that's gotten any better of an education than I got at the McComb School at the University of Texas, or any of my friends got at the Mays School of Business at Texas A&M. You either understand the time value of money, the different money markets, or you don't. They are what they are. I don't understand, except for your parents' ego, the prestige. Now, don't get me wrong. If you decide to go get a doctorate and you want to study, or if you want to study, maybe you want to be a lawyer and you want to go to Harvard, maybe you go to Rice undergrad and study liberal arts and whatever you can, and then get into law school. That's one thing. And Rice graduates typically, certainly Rice entrants, the people that get into Rice, they're probably smarter than me. They probably are. But $100,000 a year? Come on. For a tenth of that, I can go to the University of Houston, University of Texas A&M, Victoria. My bad, and I apologize. Texas A&M, Victoria, for $10,000 a year. So, mom, dad, put that other 90 into the market, in the Texas stock market. At the end of 4 years, you've put $360,000 in there, and let your kid buy a house. And if your kid doesn't make as much money as the kid that went to Rice, your kid still doesn't have a house payment. Surely he can catch up.
Well, that's the thing. Most of the industries that most undergrads go into, after 4 years, it's going to take them their entire lifetime to make that $400,000 back, plus the interest on the loans if they get it. And I mean, they've expanded their program from 100,000 to two, or if your family makes less than $200,000, you're going to get free tuition. I'm curious what the hoops are that you have to jump through to get it. But it says here, Rice's undergrad enrollment has grown 25% since 2020. They started this free tuition program in 2019. But it tells me that they're concerned that enrollment may be going down. I don't know if this is true. This is just looking at this. So that's why they're offering more money or expanding the program, because they're worried that that enrollment may be slipping, or looks, they're probably better at prognosticating these things than other universities.
Sure.
Who tend to react rather than plan ahead. But
well, I was going to say, Peter McNally adds that the Rawls, RAWLS, the Rawls College of Business at Texas Tech is good. Katie, which I have no doubt. Texas Tech really on the fast track to become an AAU university. Katie Jackson says, when I got my bachelor's at Drake University, it cost $10,000 a year. Today, that money will not get you into A&M or UT, and it's almost 40 years later. I wasn't going to say that, Katie. You did. But, yeah, you're right. No, it's going to cost you about probably $25,000 a year for a kid to go to Texas or A&M.
Smaller state schools might run you around 10 grand for tuition and fees, but you're looking at double that for your cost of living with rent and everything else through the year.
No doubt. Tammy Williams says, sincerely, nobody looks at college when you say you are a teacher. University of Phoenix is even accepted. Yeah.
If you're going to Rice to become a teacher,
no, you're just wasting
I'm
daddy's.
not sure I want to be taught by you.
That's right. You might be trying to marry an engineer. I don't know. Yeah, that's not money well spent. I don't know, man. I mean, Rice is it's a boutique, right? It's, what do they have? 3,000 students.
Yeah,
I'm convinced that it's about the size of Victoria East High School. Think about that. And if you go up there, they've got lots of buildings and a 70,000+ seat football stadium that was only full once during the Super Bowl back in the 60s. But
the stadium was overbuilt. But
they were.
But then again, pro football played there before the Astrodome.
That's right.
I think the Super Bowl was played there.
It was.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah. Looks like, according to Texas A&M retailing expert, it looks like Texas families are going to spend $800 per K through 12 student on school shopping this year. The state's annual tax-free weekend runs this Friday through Sunday. But geez.
So what do you think that is? Clothes and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's everything, but that's still.
Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand this. Why is it that every kid can go to school and eat for free, but you can't go to school without bringing 47 number 2 pencils, 500 rolls of toilet paper, and 10 boxes of Kleenex? Why are all the kids in athletics bringing their own shoes? Why do baseball players buy their own helmets? Where does the money go? And who prioritizes it?
Well, because helmets run you $100. Well, I think part of it's lice issues and sharing of helmets.
Lice. When was the last time anybody had lice?
All the time down here.
Yeah, not at the high school level.
Oh, yeah.
Ringworm, baby. That's what you got to worry about.
But the cost of everything is going up, and if you're from the Pflugerville area, Brotherton's Black Iron Barbecue is going to close at the end of this month. They said the owner's blaming the economy. They've cracked Texas's monthly's top 50 barbecue joints in the state, and they're saying the outrageous cost of beef is the biggest reason why they're having to close.
Cost of beef is still going up. The screwworm epidemic, I guess, the screwworm problem, persisting really west of us. Not here. Gulf Coast, certainly the Gulf Coast, not affected. But over on the other side, Monty Howard says a full ride for his youngest at Texas was up about, let's see, $23,000 a year, circa 2017. He bets Texas is about 30 grand by now. Now, Jonathan Williams says he's all done with shopping, all on less than 200 per. Let's see, have been schools required. So 200 per is what he paid. He's saying that it's Monty Harris says 23,000.
Jonathan Williams' kids are below average then, apparently.
Right, John. Well, his kids are going to school in nothing but flip-flops
And burlap sacks.
Right. And just glad they've got it. Yeah.
I mean, what do you It just seems like a lot of money, 800 per kid.
Yeah, that's too much. That includes New York. That's a national deal.
No, that's Texas only.
Oh.
It's ridiculous.
Well, Matt Williams says Rice is doing a complete renovation of the stadium and reducing seat capacity to about 35 grand.
That's still about 20,000 too many.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's better to match the enrollment numbers to the tune of about $120 million. Wow. That's a lot. It's a lot of money for football.
That's a lot of seats. Because what does that place seat? About 60?
No, 70, I think.
Is it? So they're reducing capacity by half. I don't think Division I requires the attendance numbers that they used to either anymore. You used to have to average like 23,000 a game or something.
They don't. There's no chance they get 23,000.
No.
But people are getting fatter, so they're just taking out one seat. They take out two seats and put in one seat. They're putting
I remember when UH was giving away tickets because they couldn't get enough people between the Jack Party years and
when, that's terrible.
Yeah. After that, they couldn't get enough people to games. Their students weren't even going when they could go and get in for free because they were so bad. And they were, trying to get the numbers up so they could meet that Division I threshold so they weren't dropped from, what used to be Division 1A to Division 1 AA.
John Paul points out that's some high dollar real estate. I've long said, and I'm not
part of Houston, though, I will say that.
I understand. Oh, it's beautiful, right? Kind of the museum district and the Rice, the university area is just beautiful. But I'll tell you this, I know that there are constraints. I don't think at the time that the Permanent University Fund was developed and established, I don't believe that legislators anticipated the immense sums of money that would go into that fund. And I'm very thankful that the state hasn't done what the feds would do, which would be get their greedy hands on it and put it into the general fund. But there's so much money.
But do you think it's time to expand that to the other public university systems in the state?
No, because let me tell you this, by definition, they do, Texas Tech is begging for their share of the Permanent University Fund. But the reality is the legislature was very specific. It said, we intend to create a university of the highest order, of the first class. So by definition, somebody's got to define what's first class. And if you start taking that money and sending it, well, we've got so much money, let's send some to Tech and let's send some to here and there. The next thing you know, you bring everybody to the same level, but it may not be the highest level.
Kind of like the airline industry. When nobody could afford to fly, it was luxury, right?
Right.
Then they introduced first class for those who like a better experience, so they don't have to sit with the commoners. And now flying is basically like Greyhound in the air.
That's right. And it's because they've dumbed it down to the lowest common denominator, except for Spirit, which they got rid of. But I keep thinking that the idea is we're not comparing Texas, and at this point, Texas and A&M. We're not comparing them to Tech or Directional State, Texas State University. We are comparing both from an academic standpoint and from an AAU, from a research standpoint. Texas especially is compared with Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State, the very, very most blue blood of academia and the elite research facilities and military development and in the country. And it just takes lots and lots of money. But with that said, the interest alone, a portion of the interest that is earned every year by investing, it's not even interest, investment income from the Permanent University Fund could make the University of Texas free for all the 65,000 students that attend the main campus. No, there would be no fees. There would be nothing.
Because Texas gets what, 70% of that, and A&M gets 30 or something like that. It's not a 50-50 split.
Two-thirds, one-third.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and at the time, people say it may not be fair to A&M. At the time, it was TAMC. It was a military school. It was a boys-only school. It was a school designed around. This is in the 30s. A school designed around a purpose. It was a bespoke institution, whereas UT from the very beginning was constitutionally, I guess, Texas Constitution, destined to be an elite research facility from the start, and that's where all that happened. So,
what I find interesting, there's a lot of universities and colleges in the state of Texas, and you have to wonder, with an aging population, can they all survive? Because it's not a matter of will they, because I don't think they will all survive. The demographics and the numbers just don't allow for it. If we're going to lose all the baby boomers and we're not having as many kids.
And AI is replacing a lot of people. There's a lot of jobs that you don't need a college degree to do anymore. I'm going to tell you, I think the next kid that that is as young as, like, say, Ryland's 13. That kid that gets out, goes and learns a trade, next thing you know, he owns 40 plumbing trucks. That kid's going to get rich because there's just certain things you can't AI away.
Well, and to be honest, that's where having a degree in business or finance would help you, being a small business owner, because
that's right.
So many of those that don't have formal training fail.
You know who the dumbest people on the planet are when it comes to business? Doctors. I'm telling you, they're the dumbest. They have no idea what they're doing to run a business, 90% of them. In the past, they just made so much money that they could make mistakes. But now that they're getting pinched by Medicare and Medicaid and taxes and everything else, 90% of them have their wives up there running their office because they really are. They're too busy. It's not that they're not capable of doing it. It's that they've never been taught to do it. And they are not. But because they're doctors and they have a little ego going, they're very difficult to educate. They don't want to hear from you. I'm a doctor, man. What are you telling me? Telling you that your cash flow is negative. Well, I know that can't be.
That's because they went to Rice and got a $400,000 undergrad degree and then medical school on top of it. Right. They're $700,000 into the red before they even open up their door.
Isn't that right? Andrew Alvarez says, learn to prompt is the new learn to code. Well, the other thing, and I tell the boys all the time, those of you that have teenagers, you're not alone. I've watched them sit in the back seat and text each other. And I'm just like, that's dumb. The person that's going to get rich in this world is going to be the guy that can pick up the phone, call somebody, and actually tell them what's going on. You know what? I'm gonna take a call here because I can. I think I can. Let me see. Chad, are you there? Hang on. How about now? You there, bud? It didn't work for me. I'm going to call you after the show because we're still live on the air. That was Chad Pedrick. Really, I guess, to me, the best, probably the best guide around. I'm real partial to a guy named Nathan Bebout, but Chad, very, very popular. He fishes ash down in the Baffin Bay area and really tears up the fish. So he's really good at it. Sportsman, though. They do a lot of catch and release, catch big trout, let them go. Let's see. Kathleen Leininger, maybe a subject change. I don't know. She says, Board of Education. Here we go. Maybe probably not a subject change. Board of Education received at the majority of woke universities. Oh, boatload of the education received at the majority of woke universities are totally useless. You end up sending your kids to college so they can be told to totally ignore everything their parents taught them. A lot of truth in that. That's a broad brush stereotype, but there is a lot of truth in that. Our universities have become liberal havens, and that is a problem. John Paul says Chad Pettick's a legitimate guide. Yes, sir, he is.
Well, I think the issue with is some of these degrees, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they don't provide any value. You go and get an undergrad degree, then you want to be a teacher, then you've got to go get certified to be a teacher if you're not an education major, and that track already provides you that pathway to get certified to teach.
Right.
You know, there's, you know, does every university need to offer a philosophy degree?
No.
I mean, there's not that many philosophers in the world. The same
Does
days of
anybody
Aristotle
need a philosophy degree?
And Socrates.
I need a get things done degree. Dawn Nicole points out both boys do call people and shake their hands while looking straight at them. I'm proud of them both. You know, I tell them, you're a good kid. It ain't your fault. Because from the very beginning, we've been right on top of them. Tammy Williams says, my uncle got rich as an electrician. He moved to Rockport at the perfect time. So he must have built Key Allegro. And Tammy says, we love Nathan. He's the best baseball coach too. I saw Nathan Beebe out at a Generals game, and he had brought a Little League team with him. Great guy. So, yeah. And Jonathan Williams, you are correct. He said hundreds of millions get funneled into our universities from China. And just like absolutely. The state doesn't give you anything without touching it, without telling you how to spend it, China's not going to give you anything without controlling your curriculum as well. A lot of folks have there's been a lot of intellectual property stolen over the years, that even at places like Texas, where people come in, they do research. Yeah. And then they take that knowledge and go back to China. P. Strauss says he hasn't fished with Chad in a while. Tell him hello from you. I will do so, P. Strauss. I had called him the other day. I wanted to see what he was thinking about how the limits were holding up. And he's caught a bunch of big trout lately down at Port Mansfield.
What's happened with all the water issues? Remember 2 months ago, everybody in this state was up in arms over water. We get a little bit of rain, and now the urgency has completely backed off.
And shouldn't the urgency be right now? Because you've got a reprieve. Let's do it right now. Yep. AJ Louderback was on the show last week, though, and he said that it's still going to be priority one with the legislature come January.
And it probably is and should be. But it's funny how the mainstream media has completely just walked away from this topic, right? You're not even finding any follow-up reporting anywhere or continuing reporting on these issues. They've just completely ignored it. I vow not to do that on this show. We're going to keep bringing it up as we need to, but
that's right.
This should not be, if water is so important, it shouldn't be something we only talk about when all of a sudden we're running out of it because we're in the midst of a 7-year cycle of drought.
Right. But that is the tendency, right? Yeah, that is the tendency. Tell me this, do any of you consciously buy American when you can? Does it cross your mind? Now, I'm not trying to get into your business about your televisions. I know they're made in China, and I know your iPhone was made in China. I get that. But do you consciously look at two items and go, well, that one was made in Texas, and it is $1 more, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Try to find some things like kitchen gadgets, maybe not your KitchenAid, mixer or things like that. They might be made in China too, to be honest. Right. But try to find utensils, cutlery, anything that you're using in your kitchen to make dinner. Try to find it made in America. It's impossible.
Katie Jackson with an update, and it's an amazing update. Lake Corpus Christi, the old Mathis Lake, is 64.7% capacity. I mean, that's just depressingly low, not gone. Choke Canyon was at 7%.
And we're celebrating that it's at 65% capacity when that used to be the trigger for alarm. Instead, nobody worried about it until it got to 20%.
Yeah. Kathleen Leininger says, I'd rather see a focus on water infrastructure than the rush to build data centers. And yes, I'll spend more on American made, but it's hard to find. But there's the data centers aren't really going to affect your water. That's a old school thought from back when they used to do evaporative. And make no mistake, water is neither lost. It's not like once they use it, it's gone forever. It evaporates. It goes into clouds. It comes back as rain. These are sealed systems that will add up to about 1% of the state's water. You want to save enough water to keep data centers in the U.S., quit flushing your toilet twice. I mean, honestly, we spend more as we're all watering our lawn, taking 20-minute showers, and filling our pools. We got to do something about the water. It's a lie. It's a joke. Stop.
Well, the focus can be on both water infrastructure and data centers. It doesn't have to be one or the other, or one's not mutually exclusive from the other either. We can get it all accomplished, but this state's going to miss out on the next wave of technology that'll fuel the next industrial revolution, so to speak. And if we don't, China's going to end up becoming that center.
Do you want them controlling your data, or do you want your data controlled in the
they already control it?
Most
of the apps that you download on your phone, they're either developed in China or surprisingly Russia and India. They've got all your data already.
And they're all there to collect your data. Yeah, there you go. Well, folks, we've reached the top of the hour.
There you go. Marina says she donated her Bible because it was printed in China and bought one that was printed in the U.S.
There you go.
And my brother likes his 20-minute showers.
And when you get
you're the problem.
You do you, brother. You do you. You know, no pun intended. When you open up your Bible and it starts out in the beginning, there was no God. That's your Chinese Bible. You know? God is an opiate of the people. Anyway, folks, we love you. God bless you. It is the top of the hour. Ash, I'm going to set you free. I'll call you.
See y'all tomorrow. Bye, folks.
There you go. Bye, folks.